Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a Let's Build video. What are Let's Build videos and what they're all about? Well, Let's Build video, I take a model kit and I'll show you guys how to put it together. If there's areas of concern, like something on the sprue is numbered differently to the instruction, I'll give you guys a heads up. If there's anything on the piece you're trying to take off that looks like it should be snipped but needs to stay, like it's like a pin or something like that, I'll give you guys a heads up, let you know. If you suffer with dyslexia or just struggle with instructions in general, again, it's a visual way to help you. If you're interested for models for an army that you have or that you're thinking of collecting, again, this is a visual way to show you, to help you. These videos are, Let's Build videos are to help everyone of any age, any skill level. So for all my regulars here, guys, I would love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a minute. So you would have seen from the thumbnail, I'm building a Daemon prince today. Straight off the bat, this is a very impressive sprue. Now, if you open this box for the first time, you might be a little bit overwhelmed, but a lot of this stuff on here, let's say the equivalent of this sprue here, yeah, is going to be extras. Okay, might be slightly less, but that's the general gist of it, because it says there is so much on here. Like I said, axe. I'll go through this stuff with you in a minute. Anyway, tools needed as always: clippers, which is useful part of our kit. Mold line scraper. Now you can use a mold line scraper, or you can use some sort of like sharp blade or surgical blade. If you're using a sharp tool, just let everyone know you're using a sharp tool, so nobody scares you by accident. Make sure there's no little cats around or no kids jumping up on you or anything like that. I have sanding sponge. Now, sanding sponge is basically foam sponge with sandpaper inside. Okay, perfect for chains and pipes and stuff like that. This is an old piece, but I try to keep it spared to one side so I can just easily show you by having to look for the other one. You have sanding sponge or sanding block. The block is more rigid. It's not as flexible. Another good thing with this, once you built the model, if you go, oh look, I missed the mold line there, I can't really get into it with my scraper, but you can get into this, just get into a little bit that you need, nice and easy. This is a plastic kit, so plastic glue. I do have super glue at hand just in case, but I shouldn't need it only a few times doing a plastic kit before if I need to super glue. Right, so before we get into the sprue, we start looking at the sprues just to ascertain what's what and just to make our life a little bit easier. So we've got these crazy things here that looks like a head. Looks like two parts of a head, because this kit actually has, I think it's 4, could be 5 different heads. One for each of the Chaos Gods, and I think there's one for Chaos Undivided. We've got various little bits like this. This looks like arm pieces. There's some more arm pieces there. Now I could be wrong with those. I'm just having a guess by looking at it. We've got leg pieces. We've got other muscle pieces. There's his back. It looks like a rock that he's going to stand on. I know what that is. That's yeah, because I can see it on the instruction in front of me. That's the bottom of his. That's armor to go to the bottom of his tail. Look at that. That's beautiful. Look at this one here. My guess is these go on the model, or these are extras that could go on the model. Because there's another little pile there. They look like. It looks like hooves, or bottom hooves. I could be wrong. Right, there's that sprue. Then we've got these two massive sprues. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to break them down. So they're three sprues same size. So obviously we've got a wing, we've got a tail, we've got a shoulder pad, shoulder pauldron, we've got a sword. Looks like some sort of shield. Probably goes onto the shoulder or goes onto a leg or something like that. Various different body parts and pieces and the horns, and that looks like a tongue sticking out. There's a lovely little claw arm there. That looks like another. I don't know if that's a head or if that's to go onto something, because that could go on here. I don't know. Or that could be, that's his shoulder pauldron, but they could, that gap at the top, they could be for something like that, or something like that, or, you know, just something else to go on there to really stand out. It's crazy sprue. There's another wing. Okay. I don't understand why there's one big wing, there's a wing close up like that, and there's another little wing like that. I don't know, but we got axe, that's his backpack. We got, there looks like shin guards, there's horns, there's looks like a part of a face. There's more parts of a face there and there. Look at that. The hell? It's amazing. What is this? So many crazy things that I don't know. And there we have Icons of Chaos. Look at that head. Absolutely lovely. We've got claw arm, we've got trophy rack. There's another trophy rack. There's these pieces that probably shoulder or elbow, or I don't know, something to go to a bit of armor on him. Look at that. That's absolutely lovely. Like I said, a lot of these pieces are going to be extras. Now, with that said, the extra pieces can still be used on other models and really stand out on other models. Anyway, I'm going to get the first pieces, find where the first pieces are, and then come back to you with them. So back to the first sprue again. I didn't show you that, did I? Look at that. I can already see colour on that in my head. Anyway, from what I can see, it's actually very simply laid out. So we need number 1 and number 2. There's number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. You know, so it's actually really nicely laid out from what I can see first of all. So we're going to need number 1 and number 2, which is those 2 pieces. Right, so we have number 2. You want these spiky bits down to the bottom like this, okay? And number 1. Now there is a little weird little, as you can see along here. So we had a little three-quarter casting of the model, but you can see that lines up in there. You can see the same little weird grooves that just line in there. This is dry fitting, so I'm just dry fitting it to make sure that I know which way it goes. It doesn't look like it's sitting snugly in there. There's a little bit of red, a little bit of plastic on the top there. Can be there. This is going to be one of those models then, where you can't get away with a little pip on the top because it won't sit properly. Bellicor was another one. Literally had to keep clearing off little pips that you missed, just to make sure that it sat in snugly. Let me show you that again. That should fit in nicely now. Yeah, seems to be much better. So I'm going to glue that into place. And I'll come back for the next piece. Right, next one we need is number 3. So we've just taken those 2, so that's the next one we need. Right, so this took me a second to figure out, but there's 2 pins there, okay, and there's 2 holes at the bottom there, so that literally just slots in there like so. Okay, won't stay up because there's no glue on it. Where are we? Yeah, that just slots in there. Okay, I'm going to glue it into place. Right, from what I can see, that's right. But the pieces that go onto it now, if one of them is slightly off, there's going to be a gap. So don't sit and leave that to dry and cure fully. We'll go on to the next piece, which is number 4, which is this piece here. So we're just taking those 3. Number 4. Wow. The instructions isn't that, I hate when they do that. This is from the Combat Patrol magazine, by the way, this model. Now, it's not giving you a clear way of what it goes in, but here's how it goes. So you've got this little groove, it goes in there, that just slots in there like so. I just got it in when I dry fit it, of course I did. Okay, that's what's giving you gives you sort of the chest. Okay, because that didn't look like muscle when I was looking, it looked like fur. But that's how it goes. The next piece that's needed is number 5, which is this back piece. So if that's correct, this goes on. It'll hold it all together nicely, and it'll be a lot easier from that point onwards. Right, so I've put glue on this already. The best way to do this is the bottom part of it. That's his belt. That just slots in there like so. Which is very difficult to get in. But you can already see how this side lines up. Okay, just to adjust it properly. I said if it's something slightly off, then because you're doing plastic glue, you can just keep working away. See how that's slightly off still? It's a very tough kit to do. They could have made that a lot easier than what they've done. Look at a little bit there. That slots in just there. I see it now. I see that very nicely. Put plastic glue on that. Okay, that's all off. I'm going to fiddle around with it till I get it into place. It's pretty much there now, but it's just very difficult. Right, so that's the best I can get. It's pretty spot on. I've actually run some glue into the gap as I've got it together. That gap's supposed to be there, okay, because I looked ahead on, and there's little bits that go in there. I'm not too sure about this corner piece though. Now it's not a big issue, because if it is slightly wrong now, that could easily be just snipped, or I can put something over the top of it. But this all looks right, okay. I could be totally wrong. It could be perfect. I'm not sure. It just looks a bit weird to me. But sometimes I put models together and think, what the hell's that? It looks very weird. And as you put it together and turn it around, you go, oh, that's what it is. Look. So anyway, the next pieces that we need are number 6 and number 7, which are these 2 leg pieces here. So we've just taken all of this. 6 and 7 is what we need next. So this piece is very straightforward. Number 6 and number 7. That just slots in there. I think there's pins on that. So there's a couple of grooves down there from going to, but it's just, you know, go straight in like so. Yeah, you can see how it lines up. So I'm going to make sure there's nothing protruding out from closing properly. Glue that together, and then I'll show you how it goes onto this boy. Right, you see how I was concerned about this piece? That's correct. Because looking down the instructions, it's showing me there's a bit of tail on. I can clearly see this piece is correct. Whereas up on the rest of the page, it's showing me a weird angle where I can't really see that piece sticking out. But anyway, this leg, you see these little teeth, and there's little grooves in there. It does. Where does it go in? It does go in there, like so. So if you dry fit it like me, just give it a little test round until you get it lined up, and then just put some glue onto it. I'd put glue onto this piece because there's nothing really in there. So if you put glue on that piece there, it should go in there nicely. Okay. I must say, apart from that first body part at the top there, it's actually coming together really easier than I thought it would be. When I looked at the sprue, I was like, Jesus, it's going to be a problem. But no, it's actually come together nicely. Next one we need is number 11. This is where sanding sponge comes in perfect. Because look at all those chains and that thin piece there. And so I'm going to snip this off, clean this down carefully, and then I'll show you how it goes on. Right, so this piece, number 11, there's 2 holes there on the side. I've put some glue in already. There's 2 pins. They're just slots in there, like so. Look at that. I'm handling it very carefully because it's still, the glue's still wet, but that is beautiful. Just already, that is absolutely amazing. So the next piece needed is number 8, which is this beautiful piece here. Right, so number 11 here, there is actually, I put glue on already, but there is a little hole in the middle there. See where the bubble is? And that's very, very straightforward. There's a little pin just below that square. So that slots in like so. Okay, which leaves the square free and leaves just above the square, which is his little belt buckle, free as well. So the next one we need is number 12. Okay, so number 8 was there, that's the ropes in front of him. Number 11 is the other pile of skulls. We need this one here, which is number 12. Right, so this piece goes on a bit of a weird way. On the back of it, there's a weird little groove. Okay, put some glue into that. Show you how it goes on. It's very fiddly to hold. But basically, it sits in like that. Sorry, I've gone up too high. Take off. Basically, it sits in like so. So when you look at it from the front, you can see all the skulls. Yeah. A very weird way of putting that piece on, but that's where it goes. The next one we need is number 9, which is this piece up here. So as you can see, pretty much everything we need so far has been on this sprue, which is nice. So number 9. Now this piece is a very, very nice slot. So there is a square pin on the back. Okay. Remember, there's a square pin there, square hole, sorry. They're just slots in there like so. Now that is lovely. Now there is a little tiny gap between the 2 pieces, so I'm going to put a bit of plastic glue in there to fill that gap. Just run it along that join line there. It's a savage model. I was looking at the rules for the world eaters, the imprints with wings and on foot, and I think I'm going to do him as a world eater one on the foot, to be honest. The wing one's pretty cool as well, and I'll probably use the wings from this sprue and kit bash a world eater one to go, winged world eater one. I'm thinking maybe from some forged theme pieces and stuff like that, but we'll have a look and have a see what I've got going on. I think I actually have the Dark Master Be'lakor. When you build him, there's 2 different body options, because one's meant to be a fantasy, one's meant to be 40k. I think that is on there, and if it is, then I will use that as the main starting point to get bashed. But anyway, the next piece needed, oh here we go, this starts getting fiddly, is number 13, which is this small little piece here. Now this is a very annoying fiddly piece about me knocking the camera, sorry guys. There is a little gap in the knee there, and this just slots in there like so. So now he has a little crest. Why they did like that I don't know, because they could have just done the knee with that piece in it anyway. Very weird. The next piece needed is number 10, which is another one of these pieces. Again, snip it very carefully, clean it very carefully, because once it comes off the sprue, that chaos symbol there looks like it's not much of a point of connection. But again, there is that funny shape there on the square, and that goes in that little gap there. to make more of his belt up. So I'm going to clip that, clean it, glue it into place. So I don't need to show you that. It's exactly the same as, you know, the skull's there. And then we'll come for the next piece. Right, the next piece we need, we're on a different sprue now, is the tail, number 14. It's the sprue with the big wing on it. But I'm going to take this one off. This is another crazy piece. I was wondering, you know, what the hell's going on here. But you've got the hollow side and the other side. You see there's a mad little pattern of grooves in there. This is very, very weird. This slots in between his cheeks there. Like so. Okay. It's very, very weird. And the next piece that we need is number 15. Are you on the same sprue? No, you're probably not. There you are. Okay, so back to the first sprue now. Number 15, which is this piece here, the corner. Right, number 15. I've put glue in there, but there is a few little hole bits at the top there. There's a few little divot bits on the side. That just slots over the top, like so. Very, very easy, very simple. It's coming along very nicely. I'm actually going to leave that to cure now before I go on to anything else, because I got a funny feeling when I start putting legs in. I forgot. Let me have a look at it. Flip the page over actually. Yeah, the little chicken legs are coming on next, and then he goes into the base. So yeah. Actually, no. Let's do the legs first. Let's put. No, I'm not going to do legs yet. I'm going to leave that to cure. I'll tell you why. Because when I put the legs on, if I put legs on now, and then just say later on today or tomorrow, I came to put them on the base, and the leg was slightly off, he won't sit properly. But if I'm putting the legs on, say now, and then putting them on the base, if it was slightly off, it could, you know, I could adjust it. And I don't want to be messing around. I want this to cure and finish and be just one piece of plastic. I'm very pleased with it so far. So the front part, the front piece, the body, was a little bit confusing, a little bit tedious. It wasn't so much tedious, but it was a little bit confusing. And as soon as I got it in the right place, like, all right, okay, now this is, you know. So hopefully this video makes this model 10 times easier for you guys. But I'm going to leave that to cure, and I'm going to come back to you after. So now we're going to go on to these little chicken legs. That's his chicken legs because that's his feet. Okay, so the first one we need is number 17, which is this one here. Okay. And number 18, which is this one here. So we're going to stiff them, clean them. I'll show you how they go together. Okay, so number 18, there is a little pin at the bottom. A square pin. So when you look at the foot, it just slots in that way around. Okay. Just slots in like so. And then it goes on this back leg here. This just glues in like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue those together, these two pieces. I'll give it 5 minutes and then glue that onto there. Maybe I should have done this yesterday, to be honest with you. But I didn't want to, as I said, you just heard me say this 20 seconds ago. I didn't want to glue it and then leave it and then go to glue it on the base and it's slightly off and I've got to mess around with it. Whereas this way, if it's slightly off, I can actually just have time to adjust it. But maybe I should have done that yesterday. It's, you know, instead of just leaving this to cure, just because that's going to be a pain in the backside. But look, I'll get there. I'll glue this together first. And so normally at this point, oh, so the other foot is this one and it goes in the same way. Okay, it does. But this one I can already see there's a little nook there, which would tell me there's a little nook there. So that's the ones we need, 19 and 20. Okay, so that's the bottom of the foot, that slots into there. I'm going to snip them, clean them and glue them, and then there's other bits that go with this. Must say though, I put that piece on and it does slot in there perfectly, just joins in perfect. Right, so next we need number 21, which is a lovely piece here. Yeah, it's very, very straightforward. As you can see, there's a weird shape slot and a weird shape pin. One just this goes in like that. So this was on the rock. Now what it's telling me to do is to glue that into there. Okay. Like so. Okay. It should just slot in there. I'm not messing with it too much because this is just still wet, but it should just go in there nicely. Yeah, you look at how it's amazing. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this a few minutes, then glue that into there. Then I'll come back to you for the next pieces. Now we're still going from the same sprue. We need number 31, which is this one here, and number 32, which is that one there. Right, so this is another one of those weird connections. Just going to put some glue onto it. So this is number 32. You need to put the glue on the top there like that, and around the side. And this piece, dry fit it first so you know which way it goes. Just slots in like so. Yeah. When I was first putting this together, I was like, what the hell is going on there? It's a bit of a hard one to figure out. As soon as you have it, as soon as you dry fit it in place, you go, oh, actually, look, I can see it now. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a few minutes. The next piece that we need is back on the same sprue, number 16, which is a little pile of stones. Right, so this leg was misbehaving. I was trying to dry fit in, it just didn't want to go in. Get like going to fall off. So I'm just going to put this into place. So this is number 16, and this is the foot 21 and the other two chicken leg pieces. See, it just slots in like so. Okay, when you build it, actually, don't try and put the foot with the stone on the leg. Do what I've done here first, because then we can glue this straight to the base. Yeah, there's plastic glue, so I've got playtime. Then I'm going to put some glue on the bottom here. Some more glue there. Some glue on that leg joint. Just a little bit. That should be correct. Looks a little bit off to me. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bit of plastic glue along the edge and by his foot so that doesn't happen.